Hi, I'm Sandy Schroeck for LBR Educates, and today we're going to take a look at choosing the flowers to create a bridal bouquet recipe. Of course, when you have a bride come in, she is going to have a color palette. And it's best to really kind of sell in through that color palette and give yourself some options to be able to choose some of the unique flowers that are on the market. As you think about your bouquet recipes, of course you're going to have some blooms maybe that the bride specifically has to have. So for example, something like this pink peony is going to be a focal flower. So that's more of a mass flower. As you're choosing your flowers for your bouquets, you want to think about a line flower. And so that could be something like this stalk here, and the mass is going to come in like the peonies. The roses are going to be a mass flower. So then something like these, so this is a disbud cremon that's very like dahlia-like for a little bit more of a budget, or the Pomponi gerbs that we grow here at Lembush Roses that have that multiple petal dahlia-like look as well. Another mass flower that you may think of is to utilize a hydrangea. And this can be kind of a base structure that you utilize down in the middle to help get some spacing. You do want to think about adding in some value flowers. So there's beautiful shades of carnations out there right now. This is an antique carnation, and you can see how it fits in this palette so very well. You also want a variety of sizes of blooms. And so we may go into some spray roses, really give you that look of roses, but more of a composite flower. And so it adds that visual interest. It's fast and easy to add it in. Something like a waxy bloom of the Hypericum comes in peach. So that gives a little bit textural difference, so you can see the contrast between the spray roses and the Hypericum. Some little bit feathery flowers. So here's some rice flower that would give that visual interest and pull some of that color in. So then we get into the more unique flowers, which are the form flowers. They're more of the unique blooms, and these are going to be the floral materials that kind of dance on top of some of these other base flowers to really give that visual interest and add depth. Here we've got a chocolate Lisianthus. We've also got chocolate lace, and so that is something that could be dancing over the top. We have scabiosa, and which is really fun flower. Of course, customer favorites right now are Rannculus and Anemones. And so those are also kind of money flowers. And so we want to make sure that they're up and visually being able to be seen and add that visual presence for the money. The next thing to consider is the variety of foliages that you would use. So you can see here today we have a little bit less traditional foliage. One of the new foliages that we just started carrying at Lembush is pistachio foliage. And I just look at this, and this really could form a natural armature that I would be able to utilize to help get some spread on my bouquet. And then Cocculus is one of the great supporting greens. It comes in that dark green color, so we're seeing more prominence of that dark green. And this stem can be cut in half or in thirds, and I use that kind of as a basing. If we look here, we've got some Agonis, and with this vintage collection, it has that chocolate influence. So kind of that brown undertone, so that's gonna come in and bring that in really well. We have some sea star fern that really can add that featheriness into your bouquet. And then just some other ferns that we're gonna be able to add some length into the bouquet. Another trend is adding, this is a green bunny tail That's a fresh bunny tail, and so you can see how those would provide movement and visual interest coming down the aisle. And then we are also seeing, in contrast to the brown shades, the bleached. And so the bleached ruscus works really well as a base. I have some bleached sea star and a bleached fern. So the key on this is to cut that stem short enough that it's not down in the water. So you're gonna bring this into your bouquet, but cut off that stem so it doesn't go down into the water, so that wicks. So it would wick and then it gets a lot of more floppy. But this is one of the top color palette that we're seeing happening for the season. That vintage collection, thinking about the variety of bloom sizes, shapes, and textures can make a very, very exciting and dramatic bridal bouquet for your customer. I'm Sandy Schroeck for LBR Educates.